Is Greece, which by many accounts is the most progressive country in Europe, is just defaulted on $1.7 billion. How does your policy agenda, which increases spending in numerous areas, address the budget deficit and also $18 trillion in debt, 75% of which is owed to middle-class, hardworking Americans? And then perhaps the larger question is, if we really want to get money out of politics, shouldn't we try to get politics out of money? It's like, right, if politics can make education free, and if politics can make retirement free, and politics can make healthcare free, what if politics couldn't do those things, do you think money would really be spent on politics?
I'm quite sure I got it all, but let me tell you what we have an $18 trillion debt, you're right, it's a lot of money. One of the questions, and I think the Congressman touched on it in another context, is how do we get that debt? When Clinton left office, in fact, we were running a pretty heavy surplus. And the projection was, in fact, that we were looking at greater and greater surpluses in the years to come. Now, and the Congressman made this point, it's a good point. Republicans are very interesting about how they deal with deficit. You see, they're very worried about the deficit, which is why they want to slash Medicare and Medicaid and education and all these programs. They're very worried about the deficit. Yet today, just today, they voted for another $38 billion for the military. You know how they paid for it? They didn't. They didn't. They put it on the credit card. Republicans took us into war in Iraq and Afghanistan, forgetting the policy issues involved there. How did they pay for that war? Oh, they forgot to pay for it. Too busy worrying about cutting Medicaid and nutrition programs for children. Just forgot to pay for those wars, which will end up costing us $4 to $6 trillion. Republicans stay up nights worrying about the deficit. That is why in their budget resolution, they provided $250 billion over a 10-year period in tax breaks for the top 0.2% of 1%. All right, that's true. All right. So you ask the question: is the deficit is the national debt serious? First point is, in the last 6.5, 7 years, we have cut the deficit by 2/3. When Bush left office, it was 1.4 trillion. Now it's what, 450 billion, somewhere around there. All right, not enough, but pretty good progress. Second point, when you look at issues like the deficit or the national debt, they cannot be looked at without seeing them in a broader context. And the broader context is in the last 30 years, there has been a transfer of wealth in this country to the tune of many trillions of dollars, going from the middle class to the top 1/10 of 1%. Top 1/10 of 1% now owns 20% of the wealth in America. 1985, they owned 10%. Middle class share has shrunk. So you want to know how you deal with the deficit? You say boldly and frankly that the wealthy and large corporations will have to pay more in taxes.